What should we talk about today? Oh, hello, this is Notaspringchick. I know, my hair's a little bit black. Anyway, wouldn't you just love to be a millionaire or multimillionaire? Because then if your name were somebody like Jose Canseco and you had a house and, well, you didn't want to make the payments anymore and you couldn't sell it, you could just give it back to the bank. Well, that is an option. So today we're going to talk about kicking the tires. Yes, the test drive. You actually do that for a house too. It's not just for buying a new car. Okay, so if you're going to kick the tires for a house, one thing is an inspection report. We're not going to talk about that today, but we'll have it tomorrow for you to look at. We'll go over that. The ways you can kick the tires. Okay. So beware, if you are selling a house, you may have a buyer that wants to kick the tires because some of them may just look and think that it looks pretty and all of that. But there are some buyers, and this is a way you can tell if they're really interested when they're looking at your house. They really want to see how they're going to feel inside the house and see what kind of condition the house is in, so they'll know what to expect, what to prepare for. So some of the things that you'll want to kick the tires on is plumbing. I know, plumbing. It's one of those things that you take for advantage but can be very expensive if it's not done right. And they may say that plumbing has been recently done, but the one way to know is to test it yourself. So Old Cam, of course, is always great with suggestions on this, and he says to check on the plumbing. Basically, go through the house. Yes, go through the house. You turn on the water, and well, in the bathrooms, the kitchens, but everywhere there's a water spout, right?
Flush toilets.
Flush toilets, yes, that too. Turn all the water on, get it running. Let it run for how many minutes?
Just enough to overflow the, so the water isn't going out as fast as you're putting it in. You just want it to be over the outlet is all.
Right, and then you go ahead and go through the house, turn it off, and then you watch and see how quickly or slowly the water goes down the toilet, the shower, all the different places. So that's one of the things, the plumbing. Next thing is electrical. That's one of those other areas where if you put money into it, it'll pay off. On the electrical, one thing to do is go out and check. It's the outlet box where you can check on the fuses to see if they're 100 watt or if they're more. What are they doing now, like 200 watts?
200 for a modern home.
Yeah, so if your house was recently built, I mean, I'm sure that they probably used all the modern circuitry, but if you're looking at a house that's 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, you especially want to make sure that you check all those different fuses.
You should never have a fuse box filled full of double fuses because they're overloading the box.
Now, how do they know if it's a double fuse or not?
Because it's a fuse with, like it says 20 watts or 20, and it says they've got two on-off switches on each fuse. That's a double fuse, and you should never have more than a few of them on any box. If the whole box is filled full of double fuses, they basically probably using twice as much amperage as the box can hold, and you're going to have power problems and maybe shorting wires out.
Yeah, so those are important things. Another way is you turn on all the lights, yes, all the lights in the house at the same time. It'd be great if you could get like the vacuum cleaner and a few other things going too. But that's one way, and see if anything short circuits because... And
garbage disposal and dishwasher if they have them.
Mm-hmm. The washing machine, because those things are really important. How important is electrical? Well, just ask anyone whose house is burned down from an electrical fire how important it is.
Didn't you have a friend that had a problem in the bathroom with an electrical fire?
Yep. It did. It can cause smoke, it can cause shorting out, it can cause your house to burn down. So electrical's really important.
One little thing in the bathroom, didn't it cost a whole lot of money to have them come in and put a brand new set of wiring in and a brand new fan that had burned out?
Yeah, that's true, because if all the electrical's there and there's fans throughout the house, good thing, but it's important, really important to check the electrical. And if you're not quite certain about some of those things, look it up on the internet, do some research, have an inspection reporter. Don't be afraid to call out an electrician. Okay, other things that you're going to look for. Well, painting. I know that sounds really kind of crazy, but a lot of times when people paint, well, I've seen it where they don't fill in the cracks. When you're selling a house, a lot of times they'll tell you to paint in neutral colors. Remember that one of those most popular colors, what was it, Navajo white? taupe is one of the new basics. You know, some of the colors that are the basic colors. These are intended so that anybody can see themselves living in there. Because there's certain colors that you may personally like russet or navy or things like that, which tend to make the room seem smaller. But also, people, you know, they may not feel as warm or as comfortable there unless that is a room that really sets off the house, sets off the tone, and it's a reason for them to buy the house. For example, if you have a room that's, say, 20 by 20, that dark navy is definitely going to make it look smaller. But if your room is much larger, shall we call it mansion size, what was it, like 50 by 100?
That's a house size.
Okay, I don't know if I'd, much worry about that. Also, the same thing goes with about dark woods, because dark woods are a huge trend right now. So if you're going with dark woods, you probably want to have a light color to complement it, to contrast it. Otherwise, the whole house is going to seem darker. And,
But whites, off-whites, light greens, and yellows make a house look warmer and bigger.
Ah, see, that's a good reason to look at it. The other part is if you're looking to buy a house, this is one of, and those colors don't exactly work with you. We'd seen a house like this where all the rooms were painted dark. Don't ask me why, and they didn't fill in the cracks. So basically, anyone that would buy the house would have to fill in all the cracks, repaint the walls, and if they didn't like the really dark colors, because you could still see all the cracks in the wall, then they'd have to repaint not just one coat, because one coat never really worked. Right. You'd have to primer it, and at least probably 2 coats each.
That's right. It takes any dark color that will take a primer and a minimum of 2 coats to cover the paint, no matter what they say. There is no such thing as a 1-coat paint. It doesn't work.
Ah, see. And let's see what else. What else are some good things for them to kick the tires on?
The roof.
Ah, yes, the roof is really important because, well, if there's a hole in the roof, which if you're selling a house, you shouldn't be trying to sell a house with a hole in it. You should at least cover it up. But kick the tires on that, because roofs are really expensive to repair, aren't they?
Up to $25,000 on a small size house it can cost. And that doesn't count if they have to rip the whole roof off, which in a lot of older homes, because of age, they have to take the under roofing off and put brand new plywood or particle board in first. It gets expensive. What about one of your friends that had a roofing job done? Tell them what they did to the roof and what they did with the materials they used in it.
Oh, well, the roof looked good, because they didn't check. Okay, let's just say it was me. The roof looked good. We got a really long roof. It was like 30, 35 years. It's supposed to last. It looks great. However, because, we didn't go up in the attic, you can't really go up in there. They put the roof nails through, and apparently the size that they had...
3 inches.
3 inches longer, probably, what?
And roofing nail is about 1 inch. They use 3 inch.
Yeah, and so what happens is you can't really walk up there because, well, there's nails sticking through the roof into the attic. Not that we would go up there anyway, but if we had, we would have noticed that the trash that they used from the roof, they just threw it and left it up there. So, it's kind of like buyer beware, when you're buying the house, when you're selling the house. These are some things that you want to look at because you may not be expecting.
It's research.
Research.
Research. Research.
And location, location, location. So for today, that's Notaspringchick on kicking the tires, and tomorrow we'll talk about inspections. Belt by Adore.